Hey guys, come visit my hometown with me. So I grew up in Germantown, PA, and I didn't spend too much time there, but it is a really wonderful historical town. So the first stop was actually a new stop. It's called Uncle Bobby's Coffee and Books. It's like a cafe slash coffee shop, and it's so black on black on black, and that's what I loved. It's black owned by Mark Lamont Hill. He's the owner and founder. And there's so many books. Like, that wasn't even all the books you just saw. There's more in the back. Like, it was just beautiful. And the book that I chose was Black AF History, which I will definitely be reading. 10 out of 10 recommend the coffee, the atmosphere, everything. But let's get to why we're here. This is the street that I grew up on, Baton Street. So this right here was my best friend Diamond's house, and this was my house. This is the house that I grew up in, and as you can see from my face, it was so surreal seeing the house that I was raised in. Like, we grew up in this house. It was way too many of us in there, and we made it work. Like, it was hard times, but it was also good times. And I do explain a little bit more about, the house and the way that I grew up at the end of this video. But I did put one little part in here where I was explaining the man who lived next door, or he worked next door. He had an auto shop, and I used to go there when I got locked out the house. So y'all can listen.
He would be working on cars. I would go sit next to the cars and eat lollipop.
So as you can see, the shop was closed down, but I was able to find a Google images of what it used to look like. And that was definitely a part of my childhood. He was a really, really sweet man.
I was allowed to play from this stop sign down the street, basically to Diamond's house. But I was not allowed to go around this corner, because if you go all the way around, it was just a bunch of teenagers. It was like a bunch of young adults. They were like all like smoke. That was the Chinese store we used to go to. We used to go there all the time, and we used to take the J bus a lot.
So the next stop was to my childhood church, and this was a great experience. This was the building I used to go to Sunday school in, and then we would go over to the main building, which was Mount Zion Baptist Church. And I have a lot of really, really great memories here. Met a lot of really great people, and this was just a safe space for me and my family. When we had hard times, we had a lot of community here that really, really loved us. And also the free library. So after my childhood tour, I decided to pop into this black-owned business that was really, really amazing. It's called Yardane, and they have so many natural shea butters and conditioners and shampoos. And across the street, there's Harlem, where they have all the raw materials that they make the products out of. So they have herbs and just everything you could ever want. It's amazing. And that was really the end of my childhood tour. So I'm going to do a little reflection where I go deeper. So I hope that you guys enjoy my little montage of my childhood home. That was really special. And I just wanted to reflect very briefly about what that really felt like, because there was no way I could express it while it was happening, but now I really can put words to it. I haven't been to Germantown since my dad was alive. My dad had taken me down there because he had to get some mail. It's been 8 years since my dad passed. Going back down there now, it felt like nothing had changed, like no time had gone by. And I'm always careful to say, we didn't have a lot of resources, but we did have something. I don't ever say oh, I came from nothing, blah, blah, blah. We didn't have anything, because we had so much. When I really think about it, it just wasn't financial. Look, that we did not have. But as far as love, we had God, we had fun, we had laughter. It's crazy to me. This is the roots. These are the roots that made me who I am. And the faith that they instilled in me. All the videos you guys see me and me talking about my faith, and it's oh, Rachel, this is amazing. Where did this come from? Where did this boldness about God come from? And it comes from my family. It comes from my parents. My mom and dad, they actually, neither one of them grew up Christian, but they raised my sisters and I as Christian. And it's funny because rain, sleet, or snow, we were on the bus, walking to church. We were in the choir. We were Vacation Bible School, Sunday school, everything. We were always there. And they really instilled in us like a really deep love for God, but also it was our own belief. Like I remember I chose to get baptized. My mom did not say, you need to get baptized. I went up to my pastor and I was like, excuse me. I was like 6. Excuse me, can I get baptized next Sunday? Went, signed up, didn't even tell my mom. She had to find out I was getting baptized. Like I didn't tell her, Mom, can you sign me up? I was like, where can I get baptized? So much of who I am today is still so connected to who I was as a little girl. I was always talking to older people, and I think that's how I started to have like an old soul. My parents, like the music that they played, it really just stays with me. Like nothing has really gone away. I was joking about how I used to love chicken nuggets, and now my affectionate nickname for people is like, oh, hey, chicken nugget, or like, my little chicken nugget. And it's funny because it's like, nothing has changed. And I think going back home, it connected me with my younger self. It connected me to who I am. I've always been a deep feeler. I used to like cry every time my dad left. I would be like, oh, I'm such a daddy's girl. This is a choice that I can't stand behind. But my sister and I used to wear jeans under our uniform skirts. And it was just out of rebellion. I can't imagine that looked very cute. But we just were like, I'm going to wear these jeans. I'll wear the uniform skirt, but I'm going to wear my jeans too. And it was crazy. Why were we doing that? That same kind of rebellion, but also just trying to be fashionable at that age. Funny thing, I actually cut my hair off when I was a kid. And now I have a short cut again. I don't know how old I was, probably like six or 7. I had taken scissors and I chopped off a whole puff. I used to have 2 big puffs, chopped off a whole puff. And my mom asked me, I can remember very vividly, she said, Rachel, why did you cut your hair? And I said, Mom, because I want to be pretty. And now look, we've come full circle. Nothing has changed. So that was a really wholesome experience. I needed that so much because this new chapter that I'm in, it requires a lot of faith, but I really do believe that it's going to be very prosperous and just like a really great chapter. I'm just like really speaking that. And going back to the first chapter is like the perfect thing to do at this time because it really shows you where you are. And I always kind of had that belief of you got to remember where you're from so you can know where you're going. And it's remembering those core beliefs of like faith, family, laughter, community. We had so much love around us at all times. That's what is so important. Going into this next chapter, I just want to be like really intentional about like loving the people around me, taking care of my mental health, which is something my mom always like told us about and instilled in us. Do all those things that you wanted to do as a child. Like be that superhero for your younger self. That person that they really wanted to be really, really bad and never thought they would be it. Be that. And also recognizing that I'm already that because where I grew up, like on that block and just in that neighborhood, going to college was like far, far fetched. You know what I mean? Like, it's not saying nobody has ever done it, but it's just the fact that like, I never thought college was attainable because of the resources that we had at the time. I'm already walking in that, just continuing to walk in that and knocking down these things and these barriers. I've always said that I would go back and give back to my community because I always, always, always struggled with survivor's remorse. Whoa, why am I crying? What's going on? I always struggled with survivor's remorse growing up because I always thought to myself, why me? Why am I getting these opportunities? Why was I ever considered for the gifted program? I used to struggle with imposter syndrome so much because I was just like, you guys don't know where I'm from. I really don't belong here. But I just felt like another one of the children on the block. So why did I make it out? Why did God protect me and keep me and give favor to my family and take us through so many things that led us to here? Like, why did I make it where I made it? sometimes I'm just like, why and how am I alive? Some of the things that used to happen when we were kids, I'm like, that was really dangerous. But I always thought to myself, if I can get older and make something of myself, I'm going to give back. I'm going to make sure that I, give back to another child who's sitting in a neighborhood thinking, I don't know what I'm gonna be when I grow up. All I know is that I'm hungry and there's no food in the house, or all I know is that, the air's not on and I'm hot, or the heat's not on and I'm cold. And it's like, I just want to be able to give back to, people who come from places like where I come from, the background, and just like not having a lot of things growing up, but having a lot of love and, having promise and having talent, but maybe not having the resources to really get that out there. So I'm going to make them proud. I'm going to continue to keep making young Rachel proud. And I'm glad I could share this part of my life with you guys. Make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you're subscribed, and also that you put your post notifications on. And until next time, keep it real.